Hey y'all, welcome to part 2 of my stable tour. Uh, as I pointed out in my last video, it turns out I have way more horses than I thought I did, so I needed to break up the stable tour into 2 videos so you guys didn't have to sit through like a whole 40-minute video. Now, normally I plan on releasing videos twice a week, so it's normal to have 2 videos for me, but normally I'll space them out. Like I want to release a video on Wednesday and then a video like on Saturday or Sunday. But I didn't want you guys to have to wait to meet all the horses, but I definitely wanted to give you guys a chance to have a break, get a drink, use the restroom before we get back into meeting more of my equine friends. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So this is Lion Prince, and he is an original North Swedish horse. So yes, I do have the original North Swedish horse along with the new one. And I'm gonna be real, I kind of got him because I was bored. I really wanted a new horse, and I didn't have a dun or a buckskin or anything like that, so I decided to get him. So here he is, Lion Prince. I actually really wanted to name him Lion King because something about him just made me think of the Lion King. But unfortunately, back in the day, King was not an option, and I actually don't know if it's an option even now, but it definitely wasn't an option back then. So he is a Lion Prince, but he is just as majestic. So this is Lucky Boy, and he is an English thoroughbred, and this is probably the most special horse I have in my stable. So as you guys might remember, I mentioned earlier that I had made a horse called Crazy Lady based off of my real life thoroughbred, and then I got a replacement for Crazy Lady, and that was Lucky Boy because Lucky Boy looks exactly like my horse Laddie did. And the reason why he's so extra special is because Laddie unfortunately crossed the Rainbow Bridge last October, so he's no longer in my life. So having him in the game is really wonderful because, like, seriously, this is exactly what Laddie looked like. Laddie had like no markings. He was just a little Seal Bay thoroughbred. So being able to have a horse that looks so much like Laddie is so wonderful because he was my heart horse. And of course, as I mentioned, his first Star Stable iteration was named Crazy Lady because Laddie was, for a while, very nervous, very kind of out of control. But after working with him for like 2 years, he and I established this amazing bond, and he became just the most wonderful horse. So that's why this version of Laddie is named Lucky Boy, because Laddie was so lucky. And I was so lucky. We were so lucky to have found each other. So yeah, it's really wonderful to, have a way to still ride him. I know I can't ride him in real life anymore, but I can at least ride him in the game. So here we have Moondancer, the Lipizzaner, and she's pretty, she's elegant, she's a Lipizzaner, she's a lot of fun. But fun story about her name, I actually didn't want to originally call her Moondancer. I wanted to name her Moon Moon. So for those who don't know, there was this meme going around for the longest time where it's like, take the first letter of your first name and the first letter of your last name, and you'll find your werewolf name. But on this particular little meme, if you had a certain letter combination, your werewolf name was Moon Moon, which isn't very ferocious. It's kind of silly. So I really wanted to name her Moon Moon, but you couldn't do that at the time when I got her. I have since found out that with the addition of the new naming options, you can name a horse Moon Moon. But I don't really want to pay the star coins for that. But I have a feeling they're going to be releasing an updated Lipizzaner maybe next year, which I think would be really cool because while this Lipizzaner is pretty, I would love to see them really polish up the Lipizzaner a little bit more. So when they do that, I'll get a new Lipizzaner and I'll name that Lipizzaner Moon Moon. Alright, but before we go, Moondancer will show you her special trick. A little levade. Ah, beautiful. So this is Mist Angel, the Shinkatig pony. And I'm about to be really honest here. She's probably my least favorite horse. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love her. Oh my gosh, look at that shuffle. But the old Shinkatig pony was honestly really ugly. The new Shinkatig pony is really pretty. I actually wouldn't mind a new Shinkatig pony, but the old one left a lot to be desired. So if I could do things over, I probably wouldn't get Mist Angel. Um, but you gotta understand that I got her like, what, 6 years ago about? And back then, there just wasn't a lot of options when it came to horses in Star Stable. There were only a handful of breeds, and a lot of the breeds shared the same like horse model. So for instance, the Irish Cob and the North Swedish horse had the same model. Um, so there was only like 5 different like horse models in the whole game. So the Shinkatig pony was a new model. It looked different from the other horses. So I wanted something that looked different, so I got the Shinkatig pony. Um, so yeah, now obviously we have so many more choices, and the horses in Star Stable are just more beautiful than I think any of us could have ever have imagined back in the old days. Like, I never thought the horses would be as beautiful as they are these days. So this was like good looking back in the day, which is why I got her. And also I wanted to name her Misty because of, you know, Misty of Shinkatig. I know, so stereotypical. But back in the day, you couldn't name a horse Misty, so she had to be called Mist Angel, which I think is a little silly. But I don't feel like spending the star coins to change her name to Misty. So I really keep Mist Angel as a reminder of where Star Stable started, so I can really appreciate what it has become today. So here's the horse I know you all have been waiting for, which is my Jorvik Warmblood Morning Song. So this is my starter horse, the one that I got to customize, and I really love a silver dapple bay, so that's why I made him look this way. And I love him. He's still one of my favorite horses in the game. And he's actually gone through not 1 but 2 glow-ups. When I first started playing Star Stable, the Jorvik Warmblood was honestly the ugliest horse in the game. They kind of looked like Autumn Belle, except uglier. And then a few years ago, they gave them a glow-up, and they looked a little more polished and a little better. And then a few years after that, they gave them an even better glow-up. And the Jorvik Warmblood went to everyone's least favorite horse to, honestly, like, this is one of my favorite horses. I still like the Percheron and the North Swedish horse better. But whenever I'm out riding around Jorvik, I see these people ride by on these beautiful horses, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what kind of horse is that? And almost 9 times out of 10, it is one of the Jorvik Warmbloods. So it's been really fun to see this breed go from 0 to hero. So here we have Nightwing, and he is a Dusk Grim. And he is the second Halloween horse I got, and he should look familiar to all of you guys since he literally made his debut in the game like a month ago. I know all of us were running around on our beautiful Dusk Grims. I really love his really pretty, like, what would we call this color? It's not quite a cream, it's like a really light, like palomino almost. I think it's really pretty, but I definitely love his magical coat. Boom. The best. I love how his mane and tail look like raven feathers. I had a really hard time choosing between him and the, was it the Song Sorrow? But when I saw people riding around on him with his beautiful feathery mane, I couldn't resist. I really love ravens. So yeah, this is Nightwing. He is named after the superhero Nightwing from the Batman universe, which I think really suits him. And then it turns out you could get a raven pet that was also called a Nightwing. So I didn't do that on purpose, but it was a happy little coincidence. So yeah, I love him. He's so gorgeous. Here is Nightwish, the Connemara pony, and I love him so much. Look at that. I love how he rests his back foot. I think he was one of the first horses to do that, which just like blew our minds back in the day. Yeah, he is so beautiful. I'm a big fan of dapple grays. And the nice thing about dapple grays in your book is they never end up graying out and turning white. In real life, dapple grays don't stay dapple grays forever, but in your book they do. I really love the Connemara. I think it's such a beautiful moving horse. I especially love the trot. It's just, oh, look at the grace and the power. And I remember these horses came out, like I'm pretty sure they were the first or pretty dang close to the first of the 3rd gen horses. So we had never seen anything like this. And like I just think back to that Chincoteague pony I showed you guys earlier, and like I could have never imagined a horse this beautiful. I mean, just look how like as he moves faster, his little forelock splits. That's so cute. And I remember it took me forever to finally buy him. I don't know why, like I just was so hesitant. Like I knew I wanted him, but I also wanted to make sure I spent my star coins wisely. But I finally caved in and got him, and no regrets. So yeah. This is Nightwish, who, for those who are paying attention, is named after one of my favorite bands. It has gotten pretty dark out in Jorvik, so I'm going to film a couple of my horses in the barn. Now, I know that normally riding in a barn is very dangerous, and I do not endorse it, but I'm not going to ride around too much. I'm going to mostly show horses in the barn who we've already seen a couple of Winfells, so you don't need to see how they move too much. So we'll just walk around in the barn a little bit, and then for the horses with like really fun flashy moves, we'll head back outside for them. But this is my Winfell Opal Dawn. I think this was my first magical horse. As you can see, she's all rainbowy. And when she's not magical, she's a really beautiful gray, and you guys know how I feel about a gray. I definitely super love her. Again, one of my first magical horses. It was really cool seeing just those beautiful colors. She does not have a tack set. Again, I've explained, I think, a million times now that I didn't like to put tack on the wild horses, but I have since changed my mind. So I'm going to be looking for a tack set for her because I think I can find a really pretty set that complements her beautiful mane. And tack's not going to hide anything too much. So I think we'll go for a Western bridle so that way you can still see her pretty rainbow stripe. But yeah, this is Opal Dawn. I got her at the same time I got Evening Spell because I couldn't decide between them, so I got both. This is Pearl Dust, the Andalusian, and she is definitely one of my favorites. I know I say that about a lot of them, but like, I'm gonna make her trot real quick. I love the Andalusian's trot. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. Okay, we'll slow down because it's dangerous to ride in a stable. But I love the Andalusians. I had been waiting for so long for them to give the Andalusians their glow up, and they did not disappoint. I love the braiding on the tail and on her mane. Oh, she's so beautiful. And I'm glad that they've made a lot of wild horses or magical horses based on the Andalusian model because probably my 3rd favorite model. Percheron, North Swedish horse, Andalusian. But this is Pearl Dust. I love her pretty, like, I think this is a Perlino, maybe a Champagne. She's just so pretty, and of course she's wearing this beautiful caramel color Christmas tack. I think the Christmas events have some of the best tack and some of the best horses, and this was just perfect for her. So yeah, so this is Pearl Dust, one of my favorite horses. Loved the Andalusian update. I know it's been a few years since it happened, but I still like can't get over how good of a job the Star team did. Okay, so you know how I said I was having trouble choosing between the Duskrim and the Song Sorrow? Well, I ended up just getting them both because they're both so beautiful, and I only had one Halloween horse, and there's like 6 of them out, so I was behind, so I just went ahead and got them both. I had the star coins. I love how she has flowers in her hair and how her eyes like look like she's blind almost, which I know that's a weird thing to say, but like I really like the horses that look blind. I think it's really unique and kind of eerie looking. And this horse, who, by the way, her name is Phantom Melody. I'm sorry I didn't introduce you, Melody. Her name is Phantom Melody, and she is the only one of the magic horses who I actually prefer her regular coat. I love how she has a gray with these like black points, and I just think the flowers look even prettier, and just like a gray mane. I think she's just so beautiful and so haunting. And if I was able to like name her like a non-Star Stable name, I think I would name her Ophelia, because I just feel like with the flowers and the like, you know, like these wet flowers in her hair, it just that name really suits her. So yeah, I really love her. She's so gorgeous. Here we have Ravencry, the Lusitano. I'm sure by now you can guess why I have him. Yeah, he's a dapple gray. And come on, guys, I'm obsessed. But yeah, he came from the Horses app. Definitely one of the first horses from the Horses app that I really got excited about. And I think like I bought him as soon as he aged up, unlike poor Dawnstar, who lived on the app 4 years. But he is just gorgeous. Let's have him. It was a little piaffe. And it took me forever to find a tack set that I liked on him. I kind of wanted to work with what I had, so that's how I settled on this look, but maybe next year at the Jorvik open house, maybe I'll see if they have like a really pretty Baroque set for him. But yeah, this is Ravencry. He is so gorgeous. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. All right, y'all, it's time for another North Swedish horse. This is Rose Dust, and she, oh my gosh, when I saw the video of the new North Swedish horse and I saw her, I was like there was no like hesitation. There was no, maybe I'll get her, maybe I won't. Like, no, I was like, I'm getting that horse. Because, oh my gosh, look how pretty she is with her dapples and her ombre hair, the little star. And again, I've already gushed over how pretty these horses look when they move. I just, oh my god, I was in love. Which is funny because honestly, I didn't really care about the North Swedish horse. I was like, oh, they're updating the North Swedish horse? Okay, whatever. Why couldn't they have done the Andalusian or the Irish Cob? But now, like, oh my gosh, I am so glad they did the North Swedish horse. So yeah, this is Rose Dust. I love her so much. Definitely one of the favorites. So here we have Spidersong, the OG Andalusian, and she was the third horse I ever had in the game. Obviously, unfortunately, she hasn't aged well. I won't move her around too much because we are in the stable. But if you guys remember how Dragonborn moved, she's not as graceful compared to the other horses. But back in the day, guys, like the Andalusians were like the horse. Because again, remember we had all of like 4 horses to choose from, and the Andalusians had the long mane and they had these long legs, and they looked so different from all the other horses, and they were just so beautiful. And I mean, and look at her, she's a gorgeous dapple gray. So unfortunately, look at that shuffle. Again, she hasn't aged well, but I still have a soft spot for her because I remember saving up for her and being so excited when I got her. Even though the new Andalusian looks a lot better, I will still always love my OG Andalusian. This is Stardust, the Hanoverian, and as you can see, she only has a saddle. I am still in the process of finding the perfect tack for her, even though I've had her for a few years now. As you can see, she has a star saddle, which makes sense because her name is Stardust, and I worked my butt off to raise my popularity with the like Jorvik Astrology Society, because I thought, like, you know, like when you like were friendly with them, you got this saddle. So I'm like, oh, so there's be like a bridle and a blanket. And either A, I like missed that, like maybe they those things did exist and now they're gone. Or B, he only gave you a saddle and it's up to you to find a matching bridle and saddle pad. I don't know. Maybe you guys do. So yeah, she just has a saddle. I'm working on getting a bridle and a saddle pad. I think I have a bridle picked out, so I just need to choose a saddle pad. Well, she's pretty. She has chrome, a little bit of chrome. She has some white feet, and then she has a beautiful blaze. And I love black horses with a blaze. And even though I think she's considered a second-gen horse, she really holds up pretty nicely. I would be interested to see what they do with the Hanoverian in the future. But I think... Why are you turning? There you go. She was not wanting to turn. But like, while I want to see what they would do with the Hanoverian in the future, I'm pretty happy with the Hanoverian in their current state. So yeah, this is Stardust. She's really grand, and definitely be on the lookout for her complete tack set, because that's going to come very soon. This is my Morgan Summer Shadow, and definitely was my favorite horse for a little while. She's a little bit outdated now, but at the time when Morgans were released, they were the prettiest horses on Jorvik. I obviously went for a nice silver bay look, because as you saw with Morning Song, I love a good silver bay. And I think she's a really pretty mover. Though I will admit, as much as I love Summer Shadow and I like this version of the Morgan, I would be really interested to see how Star Stable would update the Morgan, because honestly, this Morgan looks a lot like the quarter horse, the original quarter horse. See her ears flop. Luckily her gallop is a bit better, not as weird as the quarter horse, but you're still like a bobblehead on her back. So I really would love to see an updated Morgan, because I think there's a lot that they could do with the Morgan horse. But until then, I'm really happy with Summer Shadow. Again, was like my top horse when she originally came out, and I still have a soft spot for her. This is my quarter horse Tiger Eye, and I'm sure you guys can guess by now why I chose Tiger Eye. Yes, it's because he's really chromy. I mean, look at that blaze. Ooh, he even has a blue eye. And then those socks. Oh, he is so pretty. And I love how they made quarter horses have big butts, because I definitely think of big butts when I think of quarter horses. I will admit, as I think I've admitted already, quarter horses are not my absolute favorite breed, but this horse looked just like a horse from another game I played, so I was like, you know, I'm not a big fan of quarter horses, but I really love the way this horse looks. So that's why I went ahead and got Tiger Eye. So let's make him spin real quick. Again, nothing against quarter horses. I know a lot of people love them, especially in America, which is where I'm from. But the thing is growing up, I had a quarter horse who was absolutely insane. Everyone's like, oh, quarter horses are so like chilled and laid back, and no, this horse was crazy. Like, oof. So that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth for quarter horses. But Tiger Eye is pretty cool. So this is Time Lord, the Welsh pony. And as you can see, he doesn't have a saddle pad yet. This was another case where like I got this really cool mermaid saddle, and I was so certain that there would be like a mermaid bridle and a mermaid saddle pad, and then as far as I know, there isn't. Now maybe that has changed, but to my knowledge, there's only a mermaid saddle, and I kind of wish that like it always annoys me when like it's like, oh, here's a saddle pad. There's no other tack that matches this saddle pad. It's just a saddle pad, or like here's a saddle. Have fun matching stuff to it. I'm like, I don't know. I guess like maybe normal people enjoy creating their own tack sets, but I kind of like it when there's like a pre-set tack set. So anyway, I'm still trying to find a saddle pad for him. I think there's now mermaid saddle pads out, like mermaid print ones, so I might get one of those. Anyway, this is Time Lord, the Welsh pony. And like with all my ponies, I didn't initially really like want him. Like I wasn't like, oh, I need to have a Welsh pony. But like after being on South Hoof and seeing the Welsh pony herds, like after a while, I was just like, you know what? Maybe they're not that bad. So I went ahead and got Time Lord, who is a flaxen chestnut, which normally I don't like flaxen chestnuts, but something about this particular looking chestnut right here was just, I don't know, I liked it. Maybe it was the chrome. Maybe it was the chrome. It was probably the chrome. So yeah, this is Time Lord, my Welsh pony. He's a cutie, and yes, he is named after the doctor from Doctor Who, because I'm a nerd. This is Vanilla Twilight, and she is a Fonzie, which is based off of the Andalusian. So yeah, I have like 3 Andalusians, but can you blame me? They're so pretty, especially Fonzie. I love how I love this color, which obviously she turns into a deer, which I think is so great. But I also really love her just like, oh, that's like, it's like the color of caramel. It's a beautiful, I think this is called a pangare, when they have the light on the bottom like that. It's so pretty. But yeah, this is Vanilla Twilight. Again, Christmas horses are the best. And she was the first magic horse that I put tack on. So she's the reason why I decided that tack was okay. I don't even know why I got her tack, because it kind of broke that rule I had. But I don't know, she just looks so good with her little competition tack. It matches her perfectly. So yeah, now because of her, all the other magic horses get tack. But yeah, this is Fonzie, or she's a Fonzie, her name is Vanilla Twilight, which does come from a song by Owl City. Because I don't know, man, I like being able to name horses after songs. I think that's really cool. Yeah, just, ooh, such a pretty horse. Yes, we have yet another English thoroughbred, and this is Waterbird. And Waterbird is based off of my current real-life horse, whose name is Duck. So I can't just name a horse Duck in the game, which I feel like I should be able to do that, but I don't think Duck is even an option from the name list. So I went with Waterbird, since a duck is technically a water bird. He looks almost exactly like my horse Duck. Duck has a complete stripe in real life, while this duck has like a broken one. And my duck in real life only has 2 of his feet with socks, but these socks are really similar to his. He has really low, small socks. So it's pretty close, which is pretty impressive. So I like having my real life horses in the game. I think it's really fun. So I guess just to do a recount, I have 4 of my real life horses in the game. That's Sadie, the attack horse. We have Candy Girl, who's based off of Sweetheart. Lucky Boy, who is based off of Laddie. And then we have Waterbird. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Waterbird doesn't have his own tack set yet. I'm still putting one together. I think I'm going to try to put one together that looks as close to my tack set in real life, which is just a black saddle and a black bridle, because I really like black tack. I think it looks better on horses than brown tack. And then right now, my horse Duck has like a burgundy saddle pad, which surprisingly looks good in a chestnut. I got it for Laddie because he was a dark bay, but it looks good in my chestnut. But I also think a teal saddle pad would look really cute on him. So be on the lookout for his tack set debut. Last but most certainly not least is Winter Mist, the Irish Cob. He is an OG Irish cob, and as you can see, he looks just like the OG North Swedish horse, though I think the Irish cob came first. But he was the second horse I ever owned in Star Stable, and the first one I bought with Star Coins, because he was just so pretty, and he was so different compared to all the other horses in Jorvik. Again, you gotta remember back in the day, like 7 years ago, we didn't have a lot of options, and he was definitely the most unique looking horse in the game. And I also just have a soft spot for black and white horses. I love piebalds. My dream is for them to have like an overo, black and white overo horse. I know they have like the chestnut overo. I want a black and white overo. I know they have the splash over with the Gotland horse, which is great, but I really want like a frame over. But anyway, back to Winter Mist. He's definitely like gonna have a super soft spot with him being the first horse that I ever bought with Star Coins. And I know again he's a little outdated nowadays, but there's still just a beauty to him that like looking at him just makes me so happy. Yeah, look how cute you are, Winter Mist. I love you so much, buddy. So that's it. You have met all of my horses. I know they were a lot, but when you've been playing a Star Stable as long as I have, you end up with a very large stable of horses. So thank you so much for sticking around and meeting them all. I rotate horses once a week. So this week I'm riding a attack horse, or Sadie, because we have the Horses of Jorvik event going on. So I need to ride a paint or a quarter horse. So we're going to go ahead and start with Sadie here and hopefully get her to level 15 this week. It was great talking to y'all and meeting y'all, and I'm so excited to go on adventures with you guys, so stay tuned. All right, thanks. Bye.